think we have been muted this whole time.
Oh no.
So, in case I was, we're just going to refresh real quick. Welcome to this week's episode of Brewed for Business, the traveling podcast where we pour into local business owners over a cup of coffee, because that is the best way to get to know someone, and coffee is my love language. So, we might as well pour over it. So, we'll do our honorary cheers.
Cheers.
To another awesome episode.
Yum.
So good. We are today, in case you missed it, the first time because I might have been muted. We are at Carmela's Coffee House in Delray, off of Atlantic and Lyons. And our initial plan was to do this outdoors because they have a beautiful patio area with this like gorgeous tree. And then, in Florida, it's 60 degrees right now. So, we decided we would come inside and save our bones a little bit.
Because we're thin-skinned.
Yeah. So, in my episode today, I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Debbie Wemyss, who I've known now for about almost 8 years. In April will be 8 years. And we have become fabulous friends over the years. And a lot of what I know, I've learned from her. She's fantastic. And we were talking about before that the weather here is a reminder of where you're from. So you're originally from Maine.
Yes. Came down here a long time ago. So, yeah, when I woke up this morning and it was a feels like of 35, I was like, am I in Maine again?
Teleported back.
It's very unusual weather for all you tourists out there tuning in. It'll probably be back to normal tomorrow.
Right? Yeah, or like 90s by the weekend. It's such bipolar weather. It's really interesting how it works. But it is also the first time that I think we've had this extreme cold. I was telling a funny story before we got disconnected that I woke up Saturday morning to birds trying to peck through the ice on a bird bath that we have outside. And there was like literally like a half-inch like sheet of ice that I had to like remove for the birds to be able to, get their water. Definitely a first. So hopefully you can hear us clearly. If you can, definitely chime in the comments. Let us know if you have any questions. Also, feel free to add comments. And hopefully you're not hearing all of the crazy noise that is happening in the background. It's the joys of going live in a coffee shop. I may not have thought this whole thing through.
We'll manage.
Yeah, we will. We're going to have a good time. Hopefully you get to hear us as well. So from Maine, but you've been in Florida for quite some time now.
Yeah, a little over 40 years.
Yeah.
And I love it. I like it a lot when I can get back to New England in the fall. Best time of the year. But I was raised on every snow sport you can name from age 5.
Which one was your favorite?
Oh, skiing was my favorite.
Yeah.
Yes. Wild, reckless little kid on the slopes. I was the youngest of 5 in my family, and it was great fun. I used to teach my 2 older sisters when they brought their boyfriends along for skiing. I would teach them how to snowplow so that they could actually go off with my sisters and ski.
Nice.
Those were the days. Of course, I came down here and tried water skiing, and it's just not the same. But I like to still be active, doing lots of different stuff outside.
Yeah, and at the moment you're a little bit held back from that.
A little recovery. Yeah, I had a new knee installed 3 months, almost 3 months ago.
We'll be back to skiing and no, I'm just kidding.
Just speed walking, please.
Yeah, instead of ruining the new knee. We don't want that. Do not want that. And so, you lived in South Florida, so Broward County area for a few years before you moved up to West Palm Beach?
Yeah, I was actually in Fort Lauderdale for almost 9 years. And then we, in my married life, we moved around. Went from Fort Lauderdale to Stuart up to the Orlando area, and then came back to West Palm Beach. And, I like all those areas, but I like this area I really like Palm Beach County the best. I've been here the longest, and
Yeah.
lots to do, lots of growth always going on. That's one thing that never stops ever.
Yeah.
Downtown West Palm is quite different from it was 20 years ago. So
And still changing.
oh my gosh, it's amazing. But lots of businesses, especially from the New York City and Boston areas, they're relocating. Their headquarters are coming down. Wells Fargo was the newest one to be announced. And
Vanderbilt University was, I think, last week or something. They announced
Yeah.
that too, that they're building a campus.
and
in the downtown
there's no
market.
mystery to the attraction for businesses. You know, it really is a prime opportunity for business and those who work at those companies to live in a little easier climate, shall we say?
Right. Maybe not today, counting or this past week, but otherwise, yeah, it is sunny. Well, even then, I was talking about. I have some clients up in Boston, and I was talking to them like, "Oh, how's the weather?" And it's like, of course, it's cold and snowing, but the difference between here, our cold, and their cold, it's like over there, it's overcast.
Yeah.
Right? It's dark. It's kind of gloomy. Here, it's cold, but it's still sunny out. So
Right.
you don't know until you step outside that it's freezing. It's totally different.
Yeah, we enjoy life here, I think,
We do.
There's really more to do year round than anywhere up in the New England area. But I love going back to New England to see all my high school friends. Usually try to pick August or September, but I'd really like to go up during peak season this coming year. So we'll see.
That would be gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. So now you said Palm Beach County, right? So we were talking about the growth of it. It is so interesting to be part of a market that is like in the process of evolution. Like so many companies coming down here, so much construction going on, and Palm Beach County wasn't, at least downtown area, not all of it was like that old, right? But like a lot of it's getting like rebuilt and revamped, and all these companies are coming in. It really is beautiful to see that. The change, like from being like living in it.
Right. It is, and it's kind of remarkable if you've been here long enough to see the different evolution of what used to be called City Place, Rosemary Square. Now it's the Square, and somebody just came up recently with the nickname for our area of being the Wall Street of the South because of the financial companies that are moving down here. It's quite remarkable and exciting. Yeah, I mean, there's just no limit to what you can do down here in this area.
Right. And all the businesses. So you worked in the nonprofit sector for a really long time.
I did.
You loved it, right? And so you've kind of seen a lot of the foundations and organizations like around here.
Yeah. Yeah, it was up in New England. I was in the bar and restaurant business after college. I'll date myself. The winter of '78, which I think was called the Blizzard of '78. That was it for me. As much as I love all the winter sports, I said, I'm out of here. Came down to Fort Lauderdale, spring break of the capital, and had a ball for a few years in the restaurant business, cocktailing and food waitressing. And then I had to get serious because I got married. I was told to get a real job. So I did. And that evolved into nonprofit work, which I did for 23 years, all in Palm Beach County. I was really lucky to latch on to some great missions, some of which I still patronize, the ones that are still around, which is the Palm Beach Zoo. And I still support the Komen Foundation, Susan G. Komen for the Cure. Sadly, Ballet Florida is no longer, but I still support the arts and culture, and there's plenty of that. That's what I love the most about Palm Beach County and Broward. There's just really unlimited opportunities if you are into anything creative or the arts. It's bountiful here, to go see shows. In fact, we're going to someplace tonight, right?
Yes. We're going to be going to the Norton After Dark series. Hopefully, if it's not too cold, where they have like local musicians coming and performing Friday nights. And so if you guys have been following my podcast, my first guest was Ron Hellman. And so he's performing tonight with his band. So we're going to be going to watch him, hopefully from the warmth maybe indoors.
Yeah.
It's usually an outdoor area because they have a gorgeous like courtyard at the Norton Museum in downtown West Palm Beach, and you are able to like walk the museum before and after in the gardens and things. I don't know how they've accommodated for tonight, but we're gonna find out.
It's going to be fun. And
Yeah.
he's an acclaimed sax player from way back, so I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it's inside, yes.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
We'll go with that.
And so, but all of these different organizations, so like the Kravis Center has a lot of performances. There's a Society of Fort Arts. They have performances all the time too. And then of course at the museums, there's, there, like you said, there's always different things to do in West Palm Beach, which is amazing. Now, one of the things that I know that you do a lot of, which is where we originally met, is networking.
Oh, that's my middle name. Yes, I've been doing that for a long time, and the benefits of learning how to get out and network early in your career are really unlimited. And I've had great fun over the past 8 months of writing my first book, which should be launched at the end of February. It's called Networking from the Ground Up. It'll be available on Amazon. I'm very excited about it because I collaborated with some great people, Jillian and Debbie Wemyss out in Texas. They're just terrific to work with. They make the process easy. But her first task to me was to go back as far as I could in my career and look up any interviews that were done, podcasts, anything in writing, and just go back and get links to all of that. And I thought, this is going to be interesting. Well, I ended up coming up with about 16 things, and I was amazed. But it also went back to my early, first nonprofit that I worked for, like around the Palm Beach Zoo. And it was just great fun to go back and listen and read, all the stuff that had been written years ago. But from there, I picked up so many stories about meeting different professionals, just, some casual networking events, a ton of Chamber of Commerce events, activities around town at Kravis Center, or pretty much anywhere you go to even socialize. Those are all opportunities to meet people. And of course, I'm a LinkedIn fanatic, and I founded my business back in 2011, teaching other people to learn to use LinkedIn effectively for branding and marketing. Everything starts with, your profile, but everything starts with building a network of professionals. So it wasn't unusual for me until like the past year, because I had knee surgery. I couldn't really get out much for a few months. But it wasn't unusual for me to go to 3 to 4 events a week. And frankly, that was my socializing as well.
Right.
And
you meet the best people there. I mean,
not?
I'm a little,
yeah, there you go.
A little biased.
And they tend, if you build a network effectively and you stay in touch with people, it is pretty remarkable how people can come back in to your life years later and really impact your career. 100%. So I've got a bunch of stories in that book, and my other passion is a patio that's loaded with what I'm told is a container garden. Makes sense. I have about 65 plants out there, a bunch of orchids.
Your little sanctuary.
All of which takes time to nurture and keep it in shape. And I do a lot of analogies between business networking and growing a garden. So
it really is that.
It's really fun.
Yeah, and I think one of the things too that, you mentioned working in like the restaurant business, right? When you first moved down here. I think that's like one of the best ways to really get familiar and comfortable with talking to random people, right? The way you work the room increases your tips. So like, the better you are at starting those conversations and like connecting with someone helps so much. And then you're able to take that out into the next, then going to a networking event for the organization is not so anxiety driven, right? Because then now you're used to kind of talking to people.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that are really shy about networking because they feel like they are out of place. They don't know what to say. It's not natural to them. I feel very lucky. I've been a chatterbox since I was a kid, and that came in handy later. But my book is going to give lots of tips too to people like that. And here's the thing. I really think that everyone should experience two things in their life: sports, being in a sport, and working with the public, whether it's retail or hospitality, bar, restaurant business, for at least a year. You know, you learn to deal with all kinds of scenarios. And like you said, you know, the more friendly, outgoing you are, the better your tips in the hospitality business. But you also end up developing a following if you get good at it. If it's a restaurant or a bar, people are going to come back and ask for you.
Yeah. If you move to a different restaurant, they sometimes follow you.
Absolutely. And again, it's fascinating how people will come back around. There's just so much to networking that's of benefit to any business. And I've always said, it doesn't really matter what business you're in, you need to network. Mm-hmm. You know, businesses need connections. Connections might turn into, you know, business clients and so forth. But the more familiar you get with putting yourself out there, and there's so many opportunities to do that, the better off you're going to be, no matter what role you're in at whatever type of industry you work in.
100%. It's all about building like the right relationships, and that applies and can say benefit. Sounds like you're doing it for a reason, but no, but like it does benefit you in all areas of your life.
Yeah.
Right. Not just necessarily business, but, you know, let's say you need a connection for, you know, a different type of business owner or something like that, right? Your network that you build can then kind of relay back, and it's people that you trust and you know, and then, but you're also like-minded because you're doing the same type of things. You're going to the same kind of events.
Right.
And so like just those relationships are so big. And I know you built your business based off those relationships, those people that you've met networking and things like that. So can you give them a little tip of like what you do exactly?
Sure. 95% of my business growth has been through referrals. Mm-hmm. Absolutely the best way you can grow. But, you know, it doesn't come overnight. And again, building your network. And I will reference LinkedIn because that's what I do, you know, and that's the network I've built. And I didn't get to 16,000 plus connections overnight, not by any stretch. But I think one of the most important things you can do is be authentic in everything you do, whether it's on social media or even in person. Yeah. I think at this point, people are pretty savvy about, you know, detecting when someone is trying to be something or someone that they're not. And if you're in sales, that transfers right to whatever product or service you're trying to sell. And if I can't trust and believe in who's in front of me trying to make that sale, they're not going to get me as a client, you know. You have to get that trust factor going. So one of the simple things to do with networking, business networking, when you meet people, you know, connect with them on LinkedIn, but don't let it go at that. Yeah. Once they connect, acknowledge that connection. There's so many cool ways to do that. The mobile app on LinkedIn gives you an opportunity to leave a 1-minute voicemail. They call it a voice message, to say, hey, you know, thanks for connecting. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the next event, whatever. We're about to take off for almost 2 weeks. We will be out of town working at a couple of conferences back to back. So my messages to people now that are connecting are letting them know we're going to be out of town. You'll see me posting, but it's going to be from San Diego or Dallas, and it'll probably be videos, because we are going to be super busy talking all day, doing LinkedIn profile reviews on site at both conferences. We get a little break, 4 days in between, San Diego and Dallas. Looking forward to that. I'm going to visit my sister out in Palm Desert. It's right near Palm Springs. But I'll shoot videos from there too, whatever we do out there. Now that's not work related, but it's being authentic. And it's also interesting, I think, for a lot of people that are curious to know, hey, how's it going? What are you doing out there in California? She's got some pretty cool things planned, so I'll leave it
Nice.
at that. But it'll be a nice, busy break. And then we go to Dallas. But being authentic, showing people that you really care about, the connection you've made. It's not just another number to pump up your connection total. Stay in touch. And yes, this is all time consuming. It is work. It is it's part of my life. And the better I am at being consistently in touch with people, and posting on social media for me is kind of critical. And the minute I'm not consistent, it starts to show with my stats,
Yeah, the numbers go up
they
and
go
down.
down.
Yeah. But it is the best way to stay in touch. Especially when you're meeting people so much, like out networking and things like that, you connect with them on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And instead of sending like that, oh my gosh, like the 3 paragraph long like email sales
Work with
pitch
me.
or someone
Yeah.
like calls with, or like that message through LinkedIn that we all get sometimes, when you're not, I will say, disclosure, when you're not selective of who you connect with, that's usually when you get those kind of messages. So you have to, be more specific.
Yep.
But for the people that you do meet, like connecting with them on LinkedIn, and if you are posting consistently, right, they see what you're doing, they see where you're going, they see the kind of things that you're into, right? Like I've known you for years. I didn't know that you like skiing, like the things that you learn about.
Well, when you're very consistent with your video clips, and I will tell you hands down, and this is true for anybody, when you are consistently posting, doesn't have to be video clips, just be there on a consistent basis. Now, for a lot of people, that's once a day. You don't have to do that frequently, 2 or 3 times a week, but do it 2 or 3 times a week.
Consistently.
Your clips are now in my feed every day.
I love it.
Because I hit like on them or I comment on them, and that's an exchange of engagement, and the algorithm loves that.
Yes.
And I think that's true for any social platform, not just LinkedIn, but you can't try to figure out or second guess or break down the algorithm on LinkedIn. It's a total waste of time, in my opinion, because it changes. But the one thing that keeps coming back is authenticity and consistency.
Yeah.
So if you can grab onto a post that someone's made and engage with it, don't just hit like, comment. Add some value to it, like a sentence or two about the post. You're going to go a lot further with getting more visibility on LinkedIn if you show some engagement. And again, if you're consistent at that, you're going to see the views to your profile go up. Yeah. You will probably come into a lot more searches than you did in the past. And then you've got some rhythm going. And the trick then, of course, is to keep it going.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. And like you said, there is no, necessarily magic formula for the algorithms, but all platforms care about how you show up, but LinkedIn rewards it that much more than the rest, right? If you're just going on and like posting every day, even if you are posting every day, right, the chances of your posts getting seen are not as high as if you're posting consistently,
right,
and you're engaging. Not like necessarily with your own posts, but you're like commenting, liking other people's posts, starting conversations and supporting like what they're doing, right? And like I always notice that because sometimes, we get caught up in the day-to-day, and I have my posts I create the videos and they're scheduled, right? So they're going out, and I have to remind myself constantly, like, hey, you got to spend some time on the platform too. You have to like engage with other people, and my numbers always go up when I do that. The consistency is the same, but the engagement on my part is what changes, and it works beautifully.
And you just mentioned something really important, because scheduling is a great time saver on LinkedIn, and you can do it now on the LinkedIn pages for your business also. But you also have to be careful to go back and reciprocate, and acknowledge people that have engaged with your post, whether it's a comment. I just put a video out this morning about San Diego. And there's a couple I adore out there that we met years ago, and I noticed that I was notified that she had reacted to the video. I went back and I didn't have to do this, but I grabbed onto that activity and I directly mentioned her in a comment and I said, I hope we see you in San Diego.
Love it.
And she wrote back, certainly. So I know I can count on those two people stopping by to say hi. You know, they have an amazing story. They're just an amazing couple, real givers from way back. And I can't wait to see them. So,
Love that. And it is like a great way to find out like who's paying attention to your posts. So we kind of use that in reverse. So we do like the direct messaging campaigns for clients.
Yeah.
And so if I want to do business with you, let's say if we're, connected and I don't really know you yet. So like if I want to do business with you, like I'll start liking and commenting on your posts so that you do see my face come up on the notifications, right? So then you start to be like, oh, Julie's paying attention to my content, right? Julie's supporting what I'm doing. And then we do that a few times and then I'll reach out and start like a conversation, like in a direct message. And it's always something either like I'll comment on a post that you did, you comment about one of your girls graduating from college, then I would, send you a message like, oh my gosh, I just saw the post, like congratulations, what are the plans? And you start a normal conversation, like do not sell. Because what's one of your biggest pet peeves, Debbie?
Pitch slapping. If you haven't heard the term, it's known by other things that I won't mention here. But it's the rudest way to behave on any social platform. The minute you connect with somebody, the person, acknowledges your connection. Hey, thanks for connecting. And then yada, 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 yada.
Yeah,
3,
like
4 paragraphs of, hey, pick up this Calendly link and talk to me. And, we've got this great product. And it's like, stop it. Would you go up to a person in the street? Would I go up to you and say, hey, Julie, nice to meet you. Listen, you got to do a coaching session with us. We're the best. No,
it wouldn't work.
Nobody's going to buy from somebody like that. There's no trust. It's very superficial and it's a complete waste of everybody's time. Yeah. Don't do that, please.
Yeah. And so the best way to use LinkedIn and those platforms is to treat it as you would in-person networking. It's just an extension of that. And it just happens to be behind a screen instead of a face-to-face. But you're right. Like, say the same thing. You don't just like walk up to somebody and be like, "Hi, I'm Julie. I sell this." I'm like, no, like no one would want that. You go up to people, you ask them how their day's going. You ask them like what kind of exciting things they're working on, or like what trips they have planned, or normal things. One of the things that I used to do so I come from like the sales, customer service background, and one of the things that I always love to kind of just strike up conversation. If I heard an accent in someone, I would always ask them where they're from, and then I ask them how they say thank you in their language. Number one, I've always wanted to learn all the languages, so that part's fun. And so, but it like then we're completely just connecting over like their country or how to pronounce the word.
Sure.
And then if I can recall it and then I use it back like in the sentence, like it's beautiful and like you have immediate like rapport. But I would never walk up to someone and immediately sell. It's a turn off, major turn off.
You're showing interest in the person, genuine interest, and that's a great. I like that tip about languages. That's great.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I know how to say thank you in all kinds of languages now. I never made it past thank you. But it's a process.
When we first met early when I was getting to know what you do for business, I think the fact that you travel and you happen to drive because you have
a cat.
For how many years?
So I've had her now for 3 years, and she goes with me on all of my road trips, whether she wants to or not.
Julie doesn't fly; she drives.
Yes.
So I was fascinated by that, first of all. But she'll go hours to another state to attend a 1 or 2 day real estate forum. You can explain it better than me. But the point is, she's meeting people out of state, in IRL, in real life. Which is skipping a whole bunch of steps that you have to go through online to get to that point. And then she comes back and the process to keep those relationships going just from, a very brief in-person introduction. Yeah. So what's your secret?
So I love the old school approach of like just staying in touch with somebody. So I do a lot of phone calls. So I do a lot of phone calls with people, and I definitely do follow up Zooms when we meet in person. So then we can follow up there. And I also connect with them on LinkedIn, because as much as I would like to call every single person, but you go to those large conferences, you're meeting potentially hundreds of people, right? So getting on the phone and calling every single one is a little difficult. But I definitely make sure that I connect with them on LinkedIn immediately. I send them a note, and then immediately, like, I'm posting about like what I just did or like where I just was. So it's kind of like an easy way to like, this is what I do, without force feeding it, to them directly in a conversation.
Yeah.
And it works beautifully. Like just I do wish that I had more time to just talk to people on the phone, because I feel like that is the best way. People need that connection now more than ever, and I feel like if they hear your voice, which, by the way, that audio message you were talking about on LinkedIn,
Yep,
fabulous.
that's great.
I love it, because you hear the tone of the person, right? We don't use it on our phones often enough, but it's like it's almost as good as having that full conversation, but at least I hear a little bit of your humor, like when you're talking, right? And I can, the tonation of like whatever you're saying is a little bit more clear than if it's just written. But I love that personal touch.
It's available on the mobile app for LinkedIn, and I will be sitting. I think I have a 2-hour sit at Dallas Fort Worth in between flights on Sunday, and I'm connecting ahead. This is part of how our work evolves into an on-site profile review. People select their time based around their schedule at the conference. And one of the first things we do is find them and connect with them on LinkedIn. So in my sit down for a couple hours, and it's not going to take me, it's a 1-minute message, and I will go through the people I'm about to meet on Monday, and I'm gonna leave them a 1-minute message to follow up on my thank you that I've already given them for connecting on LinkedIn. But this time they'll hear my voice for a minute. And when they walk up to the table, first of all, I'm going to know who they are. We will have already heard, well, they've heard my voice.
Yeah.
Sometimes the savvy people, they know how to reach back with a voice message. And that doesn't happen too often.
No.
LinkedIn is 23 years old, and there's still a lot of people out there that don't know they can leave a 1-minute voice message. It's so cool.
Yeah, and well, even further than that, so the people that I meet, there's so many people that still think LinkedIn is only for like jobs and recruiters and finding a position. And there's like, they're missing out on the fact that so many business owners are like very active on LinkedIn, and it is the perfect place to build your business because you have like focused attention. Mm-hmm. All the other platforms, you're competing against like the funny animal videos, like the voiceovers or the comedians or the political videos or whatever. People are going there for entertainment versus like LinkedIn, people are going there for business, to network. So you already have like half the battle is already won. Now you just have to get their attention on you.
Yeah, it's an amazing platform. And the other thing that keeps coming back to us all the time, even after this many years, my little company will be 15 years old in June. Hard to believe.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations. Happy
Wow.
Early anniversary.
It's gone by fast. But, we still go back to the fact that, did I just lose my train of thought? Maybe.
The 15-year celebration interrupted.
Yeah. After it doesn't take much on a Friday afternoon before we're leaving for 2 weeks.
Right. There is a lot of planning.
Well, what I was going to say is keep coming back to the fact that people are not... LinkedIn isn't the most user-friendly site out there, and we know that. But with a little bit of training, you can really do a lot more with the site with the time you have. So we've become known for teaching people how to use the site efficiently so you can get on LinkedIn and do what you have to do to stay consistent and be done with it well within a half hour.
Yeah.
Anytime a day that's convenient, you will be consistent with showing up to engage with posts. You will keep your network going because you'll extend a couple of invitations, and you'll be able to interact with people, on a more consistent basis. So
That's the one thing we haven't actually like covered what it is that you do. So Debbie is the owner of DW Consulting Solutions. We just know each other so well, we just kind of went into it. So she is a LinkedIn specialist, top 50 in the country, in the world. Definitely someone that you need to speak to.
Have that designation for 2022, 23, 24. I'm not sure the company in Switzerland is still doing those rankings, but it was fun because you really had to meet some extensive criteria to get into the top 50. So, the point is, I live and breathe the site. I love what we do. I will always think it's one of the best platforms for business. And you can find anyone in the world in any industry on that platform. After 23 years, they have over 1 billion members. So,
And don't they have like a crazy number too of how they're adding like per day still?
7 new members per second.
Per second.
And we who do what I do around the world, we know that there's a few million profiles that are fake. Frankly, LinkedIn's well aware of that. They're always trying to, prevent those non-people, bots, whatever.
Yeah.
They're out there. So we also teach people how to be aware of, who not to connect with because they probably aren't a real person.
Yeah.
It happens with those kind of numbers. You really have to be ready. You have to be ready for it. So that's part of our training. But it still remains my favorite platform. The searching is incredible. We have clients that are mom and pop electricians and, service providers like that we've worked with. Their clients are on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking the other platforms, but we do try to save people time by getting them to understand who their ideal client is, what platform are they likely to be using. And the answer for us, obviously, is LinkedIn.
Right.
Over the years, we've also taken on clients that are in, multi-level marketing. We've worked with Avon and Mary Kay reps and to teach them how to attract and gain team members, from LinkedIn. So you really have to think about where is your client going to be. Okay, for senior level executives and CEOs, they're way more likely to be on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stick with that until somebody proves otherwise to me. We have a presence on other platforms, but honestly, the majority of my time is spent on what we teach, and we're pretty happy with the way it's going.
Yeah. And so she helps with like you optimize the profile, right? Step one, you got to make sure that you show up correctly. So you have all the elements of your profile that, that are necessary for people to like come to see in what you do. And then beyond that, then you give them strategies on how to engage and how to connect.
Right.
And so you do this like individually, but you do this also corporate. So those conferences you've got coming up, you're doing profile reviews for the MBA.
Yeah, Mortgage Bankers Association, the MBA. San Diego and Dallas in the next couple of weeks are going to be our 14th and 15th conference with the MBA. There's lots of other associations out there, but we have a special relationship with them, and we're sponsored to do the work we do on site, which is great. I love to travel. Mm-hmm. We're in top-notch hotels all the time, and it's great fun now. We see lots and lots of people now that we've worked with, 5-6 years ago. And they'll just come up to say hi, and tell us stories about how they're doing. It's great fun. And they're a wonderful group of professionals in a very up and down industry. I have consistently said, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Mortgage rates are up and down, and what goes on in Washington, kind of determines everybody's futures, but it's great. We love it, and it's just so different for most of the attendees we've run into. Frankly, we don't know of anybody else doing what we do.
Yeah.
It's all arranged in advance, very professionally, and they walk away with instant elevation to their profile. They know what we do, and we know what they do, and we know what their goals are, and then we follow up when we get home. So,
Yeah. So their profile reviews is what you do at a conference. So if you have an event coming up,
yeah.
which is a great like amenity to like add some value to provide to your attendees, where they come in and like the attendees will register. They register in advance. They schedule an appointment with you in advance, so that then you have time to review the profile, and then you sit down with them and give them, here's what you need to change, here's what you should do, and this is how you should present yourself, and all of the steps to do it.
That's for conferences that are large, like a couple of thousand attendees.
Right.
I've started doing smaller events on my own that don't require all the background work. We just do them on site, first come, first serve. I've done a couple of those, and it's gone pretty well. If you have a whole day to be there, people can generally find a time to stop by for. We limit it 15 minutes, which is really hard sometimes because I want to talk all day. But it's been fun, and it's just something different. Typical conferences have a very standard agenda through one or a few days of a schedule. So this is something different, and the attendees love it. There's no commitment, and there's no obligation after they sit with us.
It's literally just helping them do better on the platform and themselves. That's one of the things that I do love about what you do, and I know I'm on the opposite side of that. So, like, you help people do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I can help do it for them after the fact, right? But at the end of the day, even though that's like one of the services that I do and one of the things that I push the most, nothing is better than the person doing it themselves. Like, they're going to know best how to represent their company, how to sell their services, all of those things, right? So like to teach them the tools and like the strategies and like how they can best show up and how they can, increase their visibility, increase their credibility, and all those things is fabulous. And then for the ones that don't have the time, then you can come to me and I can help you with the engagement part.
We do refer you.
Yes, all the time.
Because I'm not going to do your posting for you, but she will.
Right.
No, and you're very good at that. I have hired you a couple of years ago. We used you for 3 or 4 months, and it was great. And that's typically how I will end up referring people. I want to use their service first and experience it myself. So I'll vouch for you anytime. And
ditto.
I have turned on enough people to you for websites, and I can vouch that you do a great job at that too.
Thank you. Thank you. And it is fun. We do like doing it. But it's part of the networking. When you go networking in person, people always talk about like your elevator pitch. Like, what do you say in like those 30, 60 seconds for people to really understand what you do? And a lot of people are really good at like what they do, but they're not great at describing it. Right? And that happens in conversations, networking, LinkedIn, all of those things, all encompassing your profile. So I'm sure you cover that a lot with people when you go over their profile and their about section. Like, it's not supposed to sound like a resume. Like, it's got to be appealing. You have to share a little bit about yourself and your message and like what you're trying to get across. That's gotta be fun with entrepreneurs, because the amount of people that I've met that are like, I could sell or do business with anyone, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
Well, yes, you can, and no one's gonna turn down business. But if you're really clear about who you want to work with, it just helps with your messaging and your overall the value that you bring, right? And who it helps.
The best way to look at LinkedIn is a two-way street. So we're teaching people and teams how to draw their target to them with the keyword optimization, but you're also at the same time able to do outbound marketing with directly targeting people that you would like to be doing business with. Organic searches are huge. 90% of people are found with an organic search. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
They don't know the name of who they need. They just know what they need.
Yeah. That's what we do for clients.
Yeah.
When I take over a client's account, first thing I do is then I'm searching like the titles of the kind of people that I'm looking for, the areas, right? So all that's done through organic search. But if your profile's not set right, they can't find you.
Right, right. And the newest thing for keyword optimization, everything now is leaning towards what they call natural language. So you are going to be kind of revamping keywords to be more like a Q&A. When you search for someone, instead of just plugging in a title, you can actually write a little sentence. Professionals who do XYZ in blank industry. You can actually type that out. Yeah, try it.
See,
it's really
I learned
cool.
something new today. That's awesome.
It's cool and it's scary because it's like, oh wait, we got to revamp all our reference documents. Thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's got to be fun. I mean, but they are
good.
Constantly changing.
It's good. You have to be flexible. And someday I wish LinkedIn would have a portal for people that do what I do. But we learn just like everybody else. You know, I could be in the middle of a virtual session across the world and get on a screen and go, oh, wait a minute. This is different. This is new.
Right.
Yeah, guess what? We learn the same way you do.
And then sometimes it opens up features for certain members, but not all, right? So you might see something, clients may not be seeing it yet, because LinkedIn kind of sends out their updates to, I'm assuming, to test before they officially launch.
They beta test when they are getting ready to. I give a shout out to Kevin D. Turner in Dallas. When they introduce something new, they're going to roll it out in stages. So there's could be a 2, 3, 4 month period before everybody gets a change, because they're going to try it to a certain segment of their population of membership and get the feedback and find out what the glitches might be. And then if they go through all that and everything's good, they'll roll it out to another big portion of the membership. So real easy example, I have 16,000 whatever connections. When I talk about something or post, even, this is the way it works, not all of my connections are going to see what I post on their homepage feed. They're going to push it out to a portion of my network, and they're going to look for engagement, and that is the key. If in the first hour of a post life is the most important. If you can get engagement, meaning people to hit like on your post, or comment, which is even better, or do both, which is the best, then you're creating engagement. And that's what LinkedIn is after, because, they have all those advertisers on that homepage feed, and the advertisers want to reach active members. So if you get activity in the first hour and you get a few people to like or comment your post, the second hour, they're going to push it out to more of my network. And they'll keep doing that. The more engagement I get, and I guarantee you, videos are always going to get you more engagement. People love to watch, but keep it short.
Yes. You don't need a 5-minute video. I mean, this is an hour live stream. That's the exception. Otherwise, you want to keep it short and sweet, 30 seconds, 60 seconds max. I mean, if you consider most commercials on TV are like under 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And attention.
If you look at the post I did today, the video, I went on my patio, I took my phone, and it was one take, and it was 58 seconds. If you keep it below 60 seconds, you can go inside and have it online on LinkedIn with captions within a few minutes. Yeah. So I'll go back now, because I have not been checking since we've been on here for an hour. But I'll go back and acknowledge everybody that's acted on that post. And every time you go back and do that, it doesn't matter, ideally you want to do it right away when you get notified somebody's acted on your post. But even if it's this afternoon or tonight, every time I go back and do anything, that's going to jog the algorithm again to push it out further. So,
and it's a beautiful way to just support people that you know and like, right? Like, even if we're not trying to do business together or something, right? But you see them posting. You've now heard, like, it helps the actual individual and like broadcasting out their posts further. So just like, comment, just do it. We're so, I feel like I talk about this a lot. Like, we're so, the doom scrolling has become a term, right? People just tend to doom scroll, and we're kind of like spectators of all sorts of things. I heard an interview yesterday on Jimmy Fallon, and it was a gentleman who canceled his Instagram account because he was like scrolling through, and then he saw like the top of Mount Everest. And at first he was like, this is amazing. And then afterwards he was like, wait a second. He's like, he got mad about it. He's like, I shouldn't know what the Mount Everest like peak looks like. This guy like literally climbed over like dead bodies to get to the top to experience the view. And then now, because I'm sitting here watching this from like my bedroom, like in my bed, like, and I get to experience that. He said, I don't feel like I've earned the right to see it. Right. I digress. So we are all so much spectators, and we're watching all these things and experiencing all these things from different people's perspectives. But the chance, like, it's so difficult to get someone to like or comment, or to take action. Like, you might love it and you're just scrolling by. If you love it, please just take a second and, like, at very least, hit an emoji.
Yeah.
Like
React.
it, love
React
it,
to it.
react to it.
Yeah.
Something. And if you're really like, want to support and speak, put a comment like, I love this. I love how you describe that. If you can go even longer and provide more value, even better. But just work on doing those little things. It'll, number one, help with whatever you're posting.
Yep.
But it also helps support the other person, right? We all have to help support each other. That's how we all grow.
Kindness counts.
Yes, it does. And so I know we're kind of wrapping up here close to the end, but other than obviously through LinkedIn, but that might be your answer. What has been the best way for you growing your business these last 15 years? Like, what have you found to be the most effective? Is it like particular networking events, relationships, LinkedIn, something else?
Consistent networking, whether it's online or in person, and followed very closely by stay in touch with your existing clients.
Yes.
In sales, people tend to keep steamrolling to get new clients, and I'll be very frank, it took me a couple of years to learn that lesson.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
Right. I still have to be reminded sometimes because you get so caught up in the grind and the next one.
Right.
Especially when you don't have like recurring clients, it's like a one-time thing. So you're constant. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Staying in touch with your existing network is
wonderful. Things can happen when you do that, and just let them know that you're thinking of them. You don't have to sell them.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at sales. I don't because I don't like being pushed myself, and I don't ever want to be looked at as a pushy salesperson. So I keep it authentic. When I'm following up after with a quick 1 minute, I love that voice message feature. It's great, and when I use it, I keep it. You have to keep it at a minute or less, and I'll just look at somebody's activity and I'll comment on what they've done, like last week or last month, or if they got a new award or recognition, whatever. And that's it. Just to put my voice in front of their ear, and there you have it. So
yeah, I have a real estate investor friend of mine who, like, for the longest time, all he did was he literally went through his list and he would like call everyone once a month, be like, hey, how's it going? How's your day going? The conversation could be like 10 seconds if you have nothing else really going on, just like, hey, just wanted to say hi. Or, you go into like a deeper conversation. But that relationship building, like, over time has helped his business in so many different ways. So I totally see the same exact thing. And on LinkedIn, it's beautiful because it's so user friendly, and it takes you, less than 60 seconds to write that message and make it personalized. I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So before we end today, any final message or thoughts that you would like to share with the world?
Yes, ma'am. If you want more tips about what I've learned through my whole career, keep an eye out for my new book, Networking from the Ground Up, available through Amazon. It'll be at the end of the month. We haven't launched it yet because I have to read my author proof. And it's coming Wednesday when I'll be in San Diego. So I get to do that the minute I get back, and then we'll pull the trigger and launch. So.
Love it. And you can also, I have Debbie's website up on the screen. Definitely connect with her on LinkedIn. It is your first and last name on LinkedIn, correct?
Yep.
So the her first and last name, the way it's spelled on the screen. You can go to her website. You could also schedule for a 15-minute review from your website. You still have that on there?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Homepage. Right on the
that way
homepage.
then, just have a conversation with her, have her take a look at what your profile is, like how you can, enhance it, and like how you can maybe use some of these tips and strategies that we have hinted to, and sign up for her newsletter. fantastic
Thank
newsletter
you.
she sends out once a month. So that's also on her LinkedIn page. But you'll get all that information from her website, which is on the screen. And thank you so much for
Thank you. This was
joining
awesome.
me today. Hopefully
Absolutely.
you guys heard us clearly, and we even had some like background music the whole time. So hopefully you jammed out. So excited for you guys to be here with us. So I hope everyone has a fabulous weekend, and definitely join us next Friday for our next episode.